Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Coming to you from high top of the refrigerator. I just wanted to try this point of view here. We're into August and the garden's been doing really great. And I have lots of cucumbers. Probably about 12 pounds here. What we're going to do is I'm going to do some canning for the first time ever. And I'm going to make some bread and butter pickles with cucumbers. So back here I have 6 mason jars. These are the wide mouth from Ball. And what I'm going to have to do is rinse these out, warm in water, soapy water, rinse them, and then sterilize them. So with that I have holders. You can grab them with this, like that, upside down, in and out. This is to put the liquids into the jars without spilling all over. We'll be using that one. I have a cook down pot here. It's a 16 quart. So where I'm getting my information from today, this is the complete guide to home canning, and this is put out by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and there's a lot of good information in here, very easy to understand. This is how you do water bathing, putting into jars. If you're going to use a steamer, different foods, you have to use a pressure cooker. And what I'm just basically following is simple recipes like this. It's $8.95. I got it on the internet, so far it's pretty good. So the recipes, this is going to make about 8 pints, which is 4 quarts. I have 6 quarts, so I'm going to add a few more pounds. But basically we're looking for 6 pounds of cucumbers, 8 cups of thinly sliced onions, which I have the onions right here, and a half cup of pickling salt. We have the pickling salt right here from Morton. And 4 cups of vinegar, 5% acidity. So I got a big gallon here. I plan on doing a lot of canning. 4.5 cups of sugar. So I got a pound of sugar. And 2 tablespoons of mustard seed, 1.5 teaspoons of celery seed, and a tablespoon of ground turmeric. So I have the mustard seed, the celery seed, and turmeric. Okay. Also have a ruler for measuring headspace. That's how much room you have from your fluid to the top of the jar or the pan. I also have 1 pound scale and put this on top. That way I know how much food I have after I peel them, slice them, and dice them. So what I'm going to be using today is my slicer machine. And what that's going to do is going to give me even pieces, and it's going to be nice and quick. So I have all these cucumbers to cut up. Just put them on here and just run through. Same thing with the onions. I'll use that for the onions. And then all of that is going to go into this big pan here. And then it's going to get covered with ice. So I have plenty of ice on hand. And then it's going to go in the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 hours. And then after that, we'll mix these ingredients up, put them in the pot, add the cucumbers and onions, and that'll cook down, and then we'll be able to go ahead and can them. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I do. So this is the stem end. I'm just going to cut about a 1/4 inch off of that and slide it back and forth, and then cut that off a good piece. What that does is it takes all the bitterness out. Again, the stem end, I'm going to cut that off, slide it back and forth, and then sink, and then cut that off. Because as it draws the bitterness out, it's going to be on that piece, so we discard that. Next thing I'm going to do is cut these in half just so they're more manageable. I'm just going to do a couple of them just to show you how I do it. So I'm going to get my peeler. This is a really good, awesome peeler. I love it. And basically you're just going to go right into the sink. Just rotate it all around. Look at that, beautiful little piece there. These cucumbers, they're pretty big. That's the first year I did cucumbers, and I love them. So I gave a few away already. Okay, so what I'm talking about is when I go to put this into the jar, I still have to wash these, so it's okay. I can just show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be taking them out and putting them in there and folding them in, but if I have a piece this big, is it going to be able to go through that small hole? No, probably not. But I'm thinking that if it's folded up and soggy, that I'll be able to push it through without taking too long. It's either that or just cut these big ones in half and the smaller ones leave whole. That's probably what I'll do. And I'll just shoot them through. We'll try the small one first. So they have this that you put on there before it gets to the end. Let's see if I can just shoot this right in. I don't know what's going to happen. Alright, so that's 4 passes there. And we're going to get a nice even cucumber there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I'll go ahead and use this. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And sharp blade, so I gotta be careful. There you go. Look at that. Nice. So actually what I want to do is put them in this one because we're going to have to weigh them. So just that one piece is about 6.5 ounces. About just a little under 13. Still got another piece here. And then this one, I wanted to just cut in half. Again, stop when you get down to the bottom there. And they're gonna all be the same thickness. Really nice. Okay, 14, 15, 16. So 1 pound. And I'm gonna get up to 8 pounds. So I'll be back after I get 8 pounds, and then we'll do the onions. Okay, now that we're done with the cucumbers, I had ended up with 8 pounds. So I had them in the refrigerator and just did a pound at a time just to keep them cold. Now we're going to go ahead and do the onions. So let me just get you a good little picture here so you can see everything. So what I'm going to do on the onion is just cut the top off here. And then the bottom. Maybe a little bit more. Right. So again, these are pretty huge, but I want that slice. So what I'm going to do is just run them through as it is. This outer skin could probably come off. I mean, it's not that bad. I'm going to leave most of it. So then this is 3.5 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is pull this out, okay, and flip it over, and now it's going to reduce it down to 1.5. So it's going to be slightly less than half. So I'm just going to give a little practice run. Since this is very low and the part that was still there, I'm going to put here. Alright, and then you push down that part and it holds it. And then you run this in that track. So let's see what we get. Alright, that's 6 passes. I mean, that's very effortless. And that's what we're getting. Consistently very thin. It's like a 1/16 of an inch. And I think that's what I'm looking for with the bread and butter. This like almost 2.5 times thinner than the cucumbers. So we're looking for 8 cups of that. So I'm done with my scale. Again, if I think these are too big, I could cut them in half. But I think what's going to end up happening is eventually these are all going to separate and be smaller. It's not going to stay one big piece like that. They're going to eventually separate into that, and I think I want to keep them that size. It's my first time doing it, so we'll see. I think it'll be okay. I'll go ahead and cut the rest of these. Alright, I know this is usually for volume, but it's close enough to work for dry weight. So there's 2 cups. And just got so what I'm doing is just cleaning the brown stuff off of there. Nice. Alright, so this one's a little bigger than the track, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it in half. Alright, so I ended up getting 8 cups. I ran out of onion, so I'm going to have to go with the 8 cups, which I think is going to be plenty. And so right now I just want to stir this up so we can mix the onions and the cucumbers. Just get in there. And take the salt. It's supposed to be 1/2 cup. I went a little bit more than 1/2 cup. And I'll just sprinkle some on there and go ahead and mix it. Some more onion in here. More salt. Mix up some more. Rest of my onions in there. And I'll put the rest of the salt. Alright, so then I want to cover it with 2 inches of crushed or cubed ice. And in the freezer here, what I'll do is just pull out my whole ice tray. I got a measuring stick, I might as well use it. So I got about 2 inches to cover there. Alright, so this is gonna go in the refrigerator for, let's see, 3 to 4 hours and add more ice as needed. There we go. The ones put in 5 cups of vinegar, about 5 cups of sugar, a couple tablespoons of mustard seed, 1.5 tablespoons of celery seed, and a tablespoon of the ground turmeric. Smells alright, a little powerful. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil for 10 minutes. And then I'm going to drain the cucumbers and onions and put them in here and bring them back to another boil. Let me just show you what this looks like here. It's pretty colorful. Don't knock anything down on the ground. You can see that. Yeah, it's a big pot, but this is going to get full, so that's what that looks like. Tries the salt. Well, the salt did melt most of this, some of it. Alright, that's about all the ice. Back over here. You can watch me probably spill this. Hopefully I don't make a big mess here. Oh, this is just pouring all over my floor. That's alright. I'll just put the trash can over there. Let this come to another boil. I think it's another 10 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to put this back in here. Put the cover on that. Move it back over there and we'll keep it on low. Let me show you what we got here. Alright. It's looking good. Smells good. So we'll bring it back to a boil. And I'll come. Alright, we're at our second boil. that heat off. Alright, put that over here. Make sure there's no air bubbles. And we should have a 1/2 inch headspace there. And that's about 1 inch. Go a little bit more. Just go right to the bottom of that. I think that's a 1/2 inch there. Close enough. Pretty much just set that in. So all I'm doing is taking one out and replacing it, dumping the water out. Dump the water